And we are live! Hello everyone, Persephone Christomancy here, and welcome back to the Storyteller's Corner, episode 26. We're almost at 30, I can't believe it. Let me just get the roasting. So, yeah, I bet you're wondering, why the pajama top, Persephone? And the reason is, it's tied into the story that I'm going to be reading to you guys today. So, let's talk about sleep. No matter how you choose to slice or dice it, every single living thing sleeps. Sleep is important. It gives us energy for the following day. And whether or not someone sleeps in the night, at night, and wakes up in the morning, or sleeps in the daytime and is active at night, everyone sleeps. Sleep is vital for our health, our well-being, and overall general feel-goodness. Morning, not the doctor. Hi, welcome. You're the first person to the live stream. Okay, just to be on the safe side, I'm going to have my sound settings ready just in case, my speakers decide to be stupid, because they tend to do that. As I always say on my channel, it is not a Persephone live stream if something's not going wrong, so just waiting for that. You can hear me, right? I just want to make sure I picked the right microphone on it, but you can hear me, right? Not the doctor? So, yes, sleep is vital for our well-being, and it's deeply tied into our culture. We literally have sayings that are associated with sleep. Sweet dreams, bad dreams, the big sleep, which is often associated with death. We even have a saying for the dead, which is rest in peace. Sleep is vital for us. It's vital for all living things. But there's something that separates people from actually quite a few animals, and that is the ability to dream. Dreams are also heavily important to our society and our culture. Dreams were often seen as prophecies, and they were certainly a trip. Some people have even gotten creative inspiration from their dreams. Like Mary Shelley's Nightmare gave her the inspiration to create Frankenstein, which is quite famous in the horror genre. I even have a copy in my library. But dreams are nothing to sneeze at. And some people are able to control their dreams and are able to experience their dreams in a whole other level known as lucid dreaming. Which lucid dreaming essentially is when you are dreaming, but you know that you're dreaming. And you experience it in a sort of first-person viewpoint. And all your senses are active. Sight, touch, smell, sound, and taste. Whereas usually in a dream, it's oftentimes you're watching a dream. Sort of like one would watch a movie or watch TV, which was represented in Pixar's Inside Out. So, not the doctor. You guys can hear me, right? Can you hear me? I just want to make sure. But yeah, dreams are very important to some people. And again, some dreams have been associated. Coincidentally, I listened to the Baku ASMR earlier. Yes. Dream. Okay, good. Yay. I picked the right microphone option. So, yay. But yes. Not only are dreams very important from in a cultural standpoint, but mythologically speaking, not the doctor brings up the Baku ASMR that I did, I think last year or the year before that. And Bakus are known as dream eaters in Chinese and Japanese folklore and mythology. And they are essentially either a chimera-esque creature with the trunk of an elephant, the back legs of a bear, the tusks of a boar, and they're they're associated with eating bad dreams, and it's said that sleeping on the pelt of a Baku can give you good dreams because they eat bad dreams. And another depiction of Bakus is that they are that they look like tapirs, which are an interesting creature to speak when you think about it. But yeah, dreams are they're very inspirational. They're honestly quite magnificent if you think about it. But as I mentioned before, there's experiencing dreams like the way you would watch a movie, but then there's lucid dreaming, which is you're dreaming, you know that you're dreaming, and you are able to control the dream, and all your senses are active in lucid dreaming. Sight, smell, touch, sound, and taste. I try and lucid dream as often as I can, and for the most part I am very successful. I swear though, if I had a nickel for every time I bought things in my dreams, I have them in my arms like, I can't wait to put these in my bedroom, and then I realized, wait a minute, it's a dream. I'd have a lot of nickels for that. Mostly because I had one dream where I was in a massive bookstore and I was buying all these books. And then there was another dream that I had where I was in this forest and there were these gemstones and these shiny, sparkly trinkets and crystals and stuff that were littering a hillside of the forest floor, and I was grabbing fistfuls of them because they were so pretty and sparkly and shiny. So, yeah. Now, I mentioned before dreams being important from a mythological standpoint, not only with the Baku, but in various mythologies. Like, for example, the Greek god Hypnos was associated with sleep and giving people dreams, as is Morpheus, another one of his titles. But then there's another name given to him by the fellow Hans Christian Andersen called Ole Luckoie. It is certainly a mouthful, but that is the story I'm going to be reading to you today, and hence my pajama top. Because we're talking about sleep and dreams, and so it's fitting. It's also why my plushie made a cameo in the thumbnail. My sugar skull cat. Because plushies. So, yeah. But feel free to make some comment, not the doctor. Now, the story of Ole Luckoie, the one that I have, is in this book of Fairytales, but I also got the complete works of Hans Christian Andersen's Fairytales, which are in there. I'm reading the story of Ole Luckoie from this book because it's got pretty pictures, and you guys remember this one. This book debuted in episode 3 of the Storyteller's Corner when I read the story of the 3 little pigs, and how I added that my favorite version of the story was told by my dad, who had the third little pig be a member of the NRA, and how they made wolfskin mittens and wolfskin hats and stuff like that. That was my favorite version of the story. Reach from the edge of this bed and touch your back. Now let's see, there are quite a few stories in here with, again, the beautiful illustrations, and I might read them to you. But let's see. There's Red Riding Hood, Mother Goose, Hop-O My Thumb, Goldilocks and the Three Bears, the 3 Little Pigs. Already read that one. Rumpelstiltskin, Jack and the Beanstalk, the Frog Prince, the Princess and the Pea, the White Cat, Little Ida's Flowers, and Ole Luckoie, or the Dust Man. Another term for the Sandman being the Dust Man. Let's see. Page 89. The 3 Little Pigs. Just trying to find the right page. Oh. My hair grew down the floor and out through the doors. Your eyes began the skies when sleepy. Ooh, this will be a very good story to read at a later date. The White Cat. So pretty. I really need to draw some more cats as soon as I get the chance. Dang. The illustrations are so pretty. Hello, I've arrived. Matt! Hi! Welcome! We're going to be reading Ole Luckoie, or the Dust Man, from the Book of Fairytales. This book made a debut in episode 3 when I read the 3 Little Pigs. And this book, actually, little bit of a history, because my mom, when she was a little girl, had a copy of this book, and she lost it in a fire when her home burned down. and she couldn't find it for the life of her. The only thing she remembered was the beast had the head of a leopard. Well, she tells me this, and I, being the curious girl that I am, I started doing research, and I eventually was able to find a copy off of Amazon, which I bought. I meant to give it to her as a gift, and she's like, tell you what, you can have this copy. You just got to bring it with you when the grandkids come over. That way I can read it to the grandbabies. So, yeah, that's how I got this book, and the illustrations are gorgeous. I will make sure to show them before I turn the next page. I'll try to at least, but yes. It's got a lot of good stories in here, and the illustrations are amazing. Leopard-headed beast sounds interesting. I don't think I've read Beauty and the Beast on here before. I have to clean some windows, but I'll still be here to listen. Okay, not the doctor. You clean those windows. Make them super shiny. We believe in you. After this live stream, I gotta unload the dishwasher, but So, yeah. I might do Beauty and the Beast from this story if you want. And I even got a book. Of Beauty and the Beast and other stories about animal brides and animal bridegrooms. Which Beauty and the Beast is definitely an interesting story, so I might just do some Beauty and the Beast. I might read Beauty and the Beast on here, but yeah, we've got the story of Ole Luckoie. After this song, I promise I'll read Ole Luckoie or the Dustman to you guys. The illustrations are gorgeous. Love them to pieces. Oh my goodness. And I'm taking emails and registering students for the next semester while I listen. Well, good for you. Register those students, and I hope they have a very bright future and they are able to achieve all that they desire. I hope for that. I genuinely do mean it. So, yeah. And since we're talking about the Sandman, I decided to make something warm to drink. Specifically, a cup of herbal tea called Sweet Dreams. Oh. I look forward to showing you guys these illustrations because they really are gorgeous. And there was one of them, in fact, that inspired me to draw. I can't remember which one it was. Well, I know it was one illustration in particular. But yeah, dreams, even nowadays, when we're no longer in a, well, it's hard to explain, but even though we're in the 21st century, dreams still have an impact to us. Some people even keep dream journals to record their dreams. Hey, basically enrolling the next generation of musicians. Well, hooray! I hope they are able to create wonderful music with good lyrics. And the song ends. And so before I read it, I guess I'll just show you the picture. But this is Ole Luckoie, or the Dustman. There he is, the Sandman himself. Ole Luckoie. Ole Luckoie, or the Dustman. Ole Luckoie, the sleepy dustman, knows the most wonderful stories in the world. When the children are sitting quietly at the table or on their little chairs, he comes up very softly and throws magic dust in their eyes. Then he breathes on their necks, and they feel so sleepy. But he does them no harm. It is only that they must be quiet, so he can tell them his stories. When they are asleep, the dustman sits on the bed. His coat is of silk and changes color constantly. Now green, now red, now blue. Under each arm he holds an umbrella. One umbrella has pictures in it, and the dustman hands it over to sorry, I'm misreading. And the dustman holds it over good children. Then they sleep sweetly and have delightful dreams. The other umbrella has no pictures, and this he holds over naughty children. They sleep heavily and wake, having had no dreams at all. There are 7 stories that the dustman told a little boy called Hi, this name. It's spelled Hialmar. Hyalmar. 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 I think that's how it's pronounced. To a little boy called Hyalmar. Ole Luckoie came every evening for a whole week to Hyalmar. There are 7 stories because the week has 7 days. And this is the story told on Monday. Listen to me, said Ole Luckoie as soon as he got Hyalmar into his bed. First, I will decorate your room. And as he spoke, the flowers in pots beside the bed grew right up and made the bedroom into a bower. Branches grew up the walls and along the ceiling. These branches were full of sweet-smelling flowers, beautiful shining fruits, and lovely little dumplings full of currants. Currants being a type of fruit. At the same time, a moaning and groaning could be heard from the drawer in the bedside table. In there was Hyalmar's slate, with the pencil to write on it and the sponge to clean it off. The numbers in the sum written on the slate were pushing and shoving. Hyalmar had put in a wrong figure, and the other numbers were trying to squeeze it out. The pencil jumped about like a little dog trying to help. Near the slate lay Hyalmar's copybook. The moaning and groaning came from the book. Hyalmar's writing was dreadfully crooked, and all of the letters were falling over and bumping into each other. The copy letter at the beginning of each line taught the others. This is the way to stand, said the copy letter. Oh, but we can't, moaned Hyalmar's letters, falling about and slipping off the lines. We are so badly made. Then you shall have some of the children's medicine, said the copy letter. Oh, no, cried the naughty, crooked letters, and they all stood up on the lines, beautifully straight. Now, I cannot tell you any more stories, said the dustman. I must drill these letters. Left, right, left, right, left, right. So he drilled the letters until they were absolutely as perfect as the copy letter. But when Hyalmar peeped into his book in the morning, the letters were as miserably bad as before. Here's the story of Monday with all the flowers that Ole Luckoie grew in Hyalmar's bedroom. And his crooked letters. It's like if you... The story for Tuesday. I just realized I haven't had dreams in a while. I don't think I've been naughty. Maybe. But who knows? Maybe from this story you might get visited by Ole Luckoie and maybe you might get some good dreams. But you have to be good. Tuesday. As soon as Hyalmar was in bed the next night, the dustman touched all the pieces of furniture in the room. The pieces of furniture began to talk, and they all talked about nothing but themselves. There was a big painting in the room. It was a landscape. In it were tall trees, flowers, a wood, and a splendid castle. Also a river that flowed down to the sea. The dustman touched the picture with his wand, and the whole thing came alive. The birds sang, the trees rustled and waved their branches, and the clouds and shadows flew across the landscape. Then the dustman lifted little Hyalmar up to the picture, and the little boy put his legs inside the frame. There he stood in the grass. He ran down to the river and sat in a little red and white boat. It had silk sails and was drawn by 6 swans. The swans had golden wreaths round their slender necks and blue stars on their heads. And all along the river the trees told stories about robbers and witches. The flowers told fairy tales and talked of what the butterflies had said to them. Gorgeous fishes with glittering gold and silver scales swam beside the boat, and sometimes leapt into the air so that the water splashed over Hyalmar's head. The cockchafers opened their golden wings and said, "Boom! Boom!" They all wanted to go with Hyalmar, and each had a long story to tell. It was a pleasant sail. Palaces of marble or glass stood near the river, and in the palaces were little princesses. The princesses were all little girls that Hyalmar knew well, and he played with them. They offered him pretty sugar toys. Each castle had a little prince on guard outside. The princes had sabers of gold, and they threw Hyalmar handfuls of raisins and tin soldiers. They were truly princes. The dustman told stories to the flowers and birds and beasts as well. But no stories for the bat, because the bat sleeps in the daytime. Oh, whoops, I almost forgot, my goodness. Tuesday. The robbers and the birds and the swans and the princes and the princesses. The illustration's really pretty. What in the heck is a sugar toy? I'm pretty sure it's a little toy made out of sugar. So maybe something like that. It would be interesting to draw a sugar toy, like a little crystalline butterfly or something like that. Fun fact, I actually have seen D&D dice that are edible and made out of sugar. So it's like you roll a bad number, your die, screw you. No, that sounds horribly sticky. It's a fairy tale. Anything can happen in fairy tales. My brothers have a fan on. Wednesday. Oh, how it poured with rain. Hyalmar could hear it even in his sleep. When the dustman opened the window, the water came up to the ledge, and there was a large lake outside. On the lake was a magnificent ship. Would you like to be a voyager, little Hyalmar? Asked Ole Luckoie. You can visit foreign lands in the night and be back next morning. Hyalmar was so excited that he could only laugh and nod his head. Suddenly, the little boy found himself in his best Sunday suit. The weather cleared miraculously, and there he was in the great ship sailing down the streets near his house, round the church, and out to the wide sea. Hyalmar was amazed. He could not have believed this was happening to him. Soon they could see no dry land, only a flock of great white storks. The storks had flown from Denmark, where Hyalmar lived, and they were going to a warm land. They flew one behind the other, and had already flown far, so far. Little Hyalmar thought that he had never before seen such a wonderful sight. Then he noticed that one young stork was so weary that he could fly no farther. His wings could scarcely hold him up. The others left him far behind, and he sank lower and lower. His wings touched the ship's rigging, and he slid down the sail and landed flop on the deck, including uncomfortable sticky fingers. Those can happen in fairy tales. Not in this fairy tale, Matt. The ship's boy put the stork in the poultry pen where the hens and ducks and turkeys were kept. Sorry, my brothers apparently had the Alexa alarm set for some reason. Can you please shut my bedroom door? I'm trying to do a live stream. Oh boy. Sorry about that. Let's see where all the hens, ducks, and turkeys were kept. The poor stork stood among all the birds, looking quite confused. How they clucked, quacked, and gobbled. He is so stupid, so stupid. What charming slender legs you have, gobbled one of the turkeys. How much did they cost? A yard. Quack, quack, giggled the duck, but the young stork hung his head sadly. The poultry made a shocking noise with their amusement, and the young stork looked very unhappy. Hyalmar could stand the noise no longer, and he went to the poultry pen. He opened the door and let out the stork. The stork was rested now, and he thanked Hyalmar for helping him by bowing deeply before he flew away. Hyalmar watched as the stork flew until he was so far away that he was just a speck in the sky. Then he turned to the hens, ducks, and turkeys and looked quite crossly at them. You shall all be made into soup tomorrow, he said to the noisy poultry. As he said it, he awoke and was surprised to find himself in his own bed. What a strange journey the dustman had taken him that night. The illustrations. It's one of the many reasons why I love this book. Thursday. Look, said Ole Luckoie to Hyalmar. Do not be frightened. You shall see a little mouse. He held the pretty little creature out in his hand. She has come to invite you to a wedding, the dustman continued. 2 mice live here, and they wish to set up house together. These mice live under the floor of your mother's larder. It seems a most delicious home. Oh, I should like to go to a mouse wedding, said Hyalmar, but how shall I get into a tiny mouse hole? Leave it to me, said the dustman. I will make you very tiny. He touched Hyalmar with his magic wand, and the little boy shrank until he was the size of a finger. Hyalmar felt very strange being so small, but he knew that he could trust Ole Luckoie. Now, said the dustman, you shall borrow one of your tin soldier's uniforms. It looks so smart to wear a uniform when one is in society, especially at a wedding. Oh, yes, agreed Hyalmar, and in a second he was dressed like the smartest little tin soldier. The little boy marched up and down, then stood at attention, just to show Ole Luckoie what a good soldier he was. Would you be so kind as to sit in your... Oh, sorry, that's the voice of the mouse. I'm sorry. Would you be so kind as to sit in your mother's thimble? Asked the mouse. It will be like a little carriage, and I will be honored to draw you to the wedding. Will you really give yourself so much trouble? Said Hyalmar, and in this carriage he was taken to the ceremony. Does not it smell nice? Said the mouse that pulled the thimble. The passage is all decorated with bacon rind. What could be better? Hyalmar thought the decorations very strange, but he did not say so to the little mouse. They went along a corridor under the floor. It was lighted by burning tinder torches, and was just tall enough for the thimble carriage to pass through. When they arrived at the room where the wedding was to be held, all the lady mice stood on the right, whispering and giggling together. On the left stood all the gentlemen mice, stroking their whiskers with their paws. Excuse me. In the middle stood the bride and groom, kissing and cuddling each other all the time. There was a dreadful squeezing and pushing of mice during the ceremony. The room was decorated with bacon rind, and this was all they ate. But for pudding they had a dried pea, in which the young mice of the family had nibbled the initials of the bridal couple. Such a charming idea! All the mice said that the wedding had been the most refined. Hyalmar then went home in his little carriage. He had enjoyed the wedding very much, and felt he had been in very distinguished company, but was not quite sure that it was not a little inferior to become so small, and to have to borrow a uniform from one of the tin soldiers. The illustrations for Thursday, and you see the mouse wedding, the young couple kissing and cuddling each other all the time, and the little dried pea with their initials in it. Such a clever idea. Very wholesome. Bride and groom mouse kissing and cuddling. I want to do that one of these days. Have someone to kiss and cuddle. Friday. It is amazing, said the dustman, how many grown-up people want me to come to them at night, especially if they've been wicked. They complain of bad dreams and offer me money. But I do not care for money. Where are we going tonight, please? Asked Hyalmar. Maybe you would care to go to another wedding, replied Ole Luckoie. Your sister's big doll Bertha is to marry Herman, the large gentleman doll. Oh, yes, I know that, said Hyalmar. When the dolls need new clothes, my sister makes them have a wedding, or says it's their birthday. It's happened 100 times. Ah, but tonight is their 101st wedding. After that, there can be no more, said the dustman, and it will be a wonderful wedding. Hyalmar looked at the table where the doll's house stood. All the windows were alight inside, and outside the tin soldiers stood and presented arms. The bride and the groom sat on the floor, leaning against the table leg, and looked very thoughtful. Perhaps they had cause to do so. Now the dustman put on his grandmother's black gown and married the dolls. When the ceremony was over, all the furniture in the doll's house sang this song, which had been written by the lead pencil. We sing a song of kind farewell, as a wedding surprise for the beau and belle. With their kid leather skin and glassy stare, straight as a yardstick stand the pair. Hurrah, hurrah, now sing together, with all your breath for wood and leather. Then the couple were given their present. However, they could not accept anything eatable. Love was enough for them to live upon. And when the dolls had decided where to go for their honeymoon, the wedding was over. And since these are two separate pages, I'll show them both to you at once I finish reading Saturday. Saturday. Now may I have some stories? Asked the little Hjalmar as soon as the dustman had put him to bed. We have to be quick this evening, said the dustman, spreading his beautiful picture umbrella over the little boy. Look at these Chinamen. The umbrella was like a big Chinese bowl, with a pattern of blue trees and little pointed bridges, and that arched over a river. Little Chinese men and women stood nodding their heads. Then the picture faded. Tomorrow, said the dustman, it is a feast day. It is Sunday. Before then, all the world must be put in order. I must go to the church tower and see that the little church goblins are polishing the bells properly to make them ring with a beautiful sound. I must go to the fields and see that the wind is blowing all the dust off the grass and leaves. I must take down the stars in order that I may brighten them up. This is my most difficult job. First, I have to number all the stars, then I put them in my apron. The holes that the stars came from must be numbered too, so that they are all put back in their proper places. They must fit firmly, or we shall have too many shooting stars falling in the sky. Now listen to me, Mr. Ole Luckoie, said the old portrait that hung on the wall in Hjalmar's bedroom near his bed. You have Friday the doll wedding, and then you have Saturday, Ole Luckoie polishing the stars, and the church goblins making sure to polish the bells. Goblins that live in the church. I could make a labyrinth reference, but I won't. They must be very good goblins, though. Anyway. Do you know that I am little Hjalmar's great-grandfather? Ole Luckoie looked up at the portrait and nodded. It is very kind of you to tell the boy stories, continued the portrait, but you must not muddle him by talking nonsense. The stars cannot be taken down and polished. They are spheres like our earth. That is absolutely correct. Thank you, old great-grandfather, replied the dustman. Many thanks. You are indeed the head of the family, and very old. But I am older still. I am an old pagan. The Greeks and the Romans call me the god of dreams. I have been into the greatest houses in the world, and I go there still. I know how to keep company with old and young, great and small. Now it is your turn. Say what you like. And Ole Luckoie went away carrying his umbrella. You see, it is no longer possible to say what one thinks, muttered the old portrait, and soon Hjalmar woke up. Sunday. And it's two different pictures, so I'll show them to you afterwards. We're almost done with the story. It's very short, but very sweet. Sunday. Good evening, said the dustman, and Hjalmar bowed to him, then jumped up quickly out of bed and turned the portrait of his great-grandfather to face the wall. Now, you can tell me about the 5 green peas who lived in a pod, and Cocky who courted Henny Penny. Reference to the story of Chicken Little, by the way. And the darning needle who thought she was a fine embroidery needle. No one can have too much of a good thing, said the dustman. I will show you my brother. He never comes more than once to anyone. Whomsoever he visits, he takes upon his beautiful horse and tells him a story. He only knows 2 stories. One story is marvelously beautiful, and the other is horrible beyond description. And the dustman lifted little Hjalmar onto the window-sill and said, There is my brother, the other dustman. He is called Death. You see, he is not frightening at all, as he seems in picture books. Look at his beautiful silver-embroidered uniform, and his fine black cloak floating out behind him, and see how swiftly his horse gallops. And Hjalmar saw the other dustman ride by. He took old and young on his horse, and they all had to show him their books. Those who had very good or excellent were put in front of him and heard the beautiful story, and those who had mediocre or bad went up behind him and had to listen to the horrible story. No matter how they shouted and tried to jump down. Death is a very beautiful dustman, said Hjalmar. I am not afraid of him. No, you must not be frightened of him, said Ole Luckoie, but you must be careful to have a good report to show him. This is very instructional, said the portrait of the old great-grandfather. I approve. It all comes from giving my opinion. He was contented. These are the stories of the Dustman. Perhaps he will come and tell you a story tonight. And these are the final illustrations. This continues off of the story of Saturday, and this is the Sunday story. And here you see Death, the other Dustman. And that is the story of Ole Luckoie. There we go. But that was the story of Ole Luckoie. And honestly, when I first read this story, it became one of my favorites. And again, it actually inspired me to draw. But I love how they depict the Sandman, the Dustman, Ole Luckoie. I love his character. He's very pleasant, and I love the dreams that he gives this little kid. These are the kind of dreams you think of as a little kid. Oh, a little loud, I'm sorry. But yeah, and in the book, it does, as I mentioned before, mythologically, you have the figure from mythology, and they've been in our stories countlessly. And it's interesting because it just continues to further show the example of what happens with stories. Because back then, stories were told through word of mouth. And every story has a different version, a different ending. It's amazing. I missed a bit because of a call. But when I heard, I liked it. Hooray for punishment of children! Well, I mean, if a child is naughty, then they ought to be punished. I mentioned it in my Pinocchio story before. But yeah, even punishment for the adults, wicked adults not getting dreams. But the fact that these adults try and bribe Ole Luckoie with money to get good dreams, it's like, I have no use for money. Why do you offer me this? And I find it to be interesting. But as far as I go, I always have dreams. So Ole Luckoie must visit me a lot. Because for the most part, I try and be good. And again, if I'm lucky, I get to lucid dream. I've had so many dreams. I probably ought to start recording them, because they would make for excellent stories. Now, I always like finding a moral in the stories that I tell you guys. But with the story of Ole Luckoie, I mean, it's kind of hard to find one. If you guys have any ideas of what the moral might be, I'd be interested to hear them. But if I had to look, obviously a moral that could be one is if you're good, you get good dreams, and if you're bad, then you get no dreams, or you get bad dreams. And also, I enjoy deep blank slumber without dreams sometimes. It just feels like the definition of hibernation. I mean, that is fair enough, but I enjoy dreams. I like to be able to go on adventures and explore. Dreams can certainly be interesting, except when they're nightmares. And if they're nightmares, well, I just wake up. My tea's gone cold, but yeah, that is the end of Ole Luckoie. I hope you guys like the story and the illustrations. I don't know who illustrates this. Oh, let me see. Gift Book of Fairytales, published by, manufactured in the United States of America, 1977 edition. So, yeah. Fates in the Wood. This would be another good story to read. And the story of Beauty and the Beast. So yeah, I don't know who illustrated these, but these illustrations are amazing. And hey, hi Yuri Martinez. I just finished reading the story of Ole Luckoie. I just finished reading the story of Ole Luckoie. It was really good. Lucid nightmares are the worst, but also make for great horror writing inspiration. Definitely. Luckily, I've not had any lucid nightmares, but if I did, I was just able to wake up. Oh yeah, this book also made an appearance with Hansel and Gretel because I read the story of Hansel and Gretel to you guys. Yep, now I remember. That was the second time I used this book, was for the story of Hansel and Gretel. But yeah, I don't know who illustrated. Oh my gosh. My goodness gracious. Swear. The attention span of a coked up goldfish, and the goldfish refuses to go to rehab. It says who these were illustrated by. Illustrated by Janet and Anne Graham Johnstone. That's where the illustrations come from. And you got this one. But yeah, this book is very old. It's very old and mangled. But I love it just the same. And I definitely do plan to keep the promise that my mom said. It's like, you can keep this book, but you just got to bring it with you. That way I can read it to the grandbabies. And I will definitely make sure that if I ever have children, I will make sure that they get the good stories. All the fairy tales. If I ever get married. I hope so. I'm not giving up on love. I dodged a bullet with my ex. But yes. I think I know some of the stories I will read. Sometimes I just attempt to wake up from a nightmare, but I just wonder, I'd find that I woke in my dream, but it continues to actually be a dream. I have never had that fake out before. I don't think of waking up in a dream, but still being in the dream. I don't think I've ever had that happen to me. That would be a trip, though. Maybe. Yeah, I really need to start writing down my own dreams, but geez. But yeah, the story Ole Luckoie is very charming, and the fact that there are 7 stories, it is horrible. I mean, in a nightmare, yeah, but if it's in a dream, like a friendly dream, then it would be a trip. But yeah, that is the story of Ole Luckoie, the 7 stories for the 7 days in the week. Oh yeah, and I forgot, this book also has a story of Puss in Boots. And you know what? Just because I can, I will show you the good boy. I will show you Puss with his boots, and his boots got spurs. Boy, can go down to the floor and not through the doors of your eyes, beyond your skies, a sleepy head. But yeah, there are lots of stories in this book, some of which I've read to you before. There's Little Red Riding Hood, Mother Goose. Show the ogre too! I'm experiencing sleep paralysis, so I'm very vivid. I could talk about them later. Oh, please do in the Discord. I'd love to hear about them. But fine, I guess I can show the ogre. Just give me a sec. Alright, there's that. But yeah, here are the stories in this book. Little Red Riding Hood, Mother Goose, Hop on My Thumb, Goldilocks and the 3 Bears, the 3 Little Pigs, Rumpelstiltskin, Jack and the Beanstalk, the Frog Prince, the Princess and the Pea, the White Cat, Little Ida's Flowers, Ole Luckoie, or the Dustman. I read that to you today. Thumbelina, the Top and the Ball, the Darning Needle, Blockhead Hans. Blockhead Hans, Sleeping Beauty, Puss in Boots, Tom Thumb, Hansel and Gretel, Beauty and the Beast, and Babes in the Woods. Babes in the Wood. And because Matt wanted to see the ogre's also got spurs in his boots. Push with his bottle brushy tail all very intimidated. Yeah, that's what the ogre looks like. Very big, very intimidating. Puss is intimidated with his bottle brushy tail. But yeah, I love the illustrations of this. They're beautiful. Large man! Yes. Alright, this will be the last song, and then they'll mark the end of the live stream. But yeah, thank you so much for coming to the live stream, guys. I hope you enjoyed the story. I certainly enjoyed reading it to you. Oh, I didn't notice there was a dragon on the other part of the umbrella. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. But yes, thank you so much for coming to the live stream, guys, and I hope you enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed reading the stories to you, as I always do. And I definitely think I may be reading some other stories from here. Dragon? Yay! Yeah, right here. It's an Asian dragon, but right here, see? The dragon's got a white rose in its mouth. See? Dragon. Okay, hopefully you guys saw that, but yeah. The illustrations are just gorgeous, and I think I know some of the stories I could read from here. I definitely know a few that I could read that you guys would enjoy. But yeah, anyway, but yeah. Sorry. I know I tend to go on and I blather, but I hope you guys really enjoyed the story. And it makes me happy that you guys enjoy the reading that I do. And yeah, I got more ASMR on the way. I actually finished an ASMR video last night, so I should be getting that uploaded to you soon. And Matthew, I know you said you were excited about... Alright, this will be the last song. But I know you said you were excited about getting a mummy girl ASMR, Matt Newcomb, and I've been working on her sketch. I already know I'm kind of stuck on what I want to do with her. Like, on one hand, I want to give her kind of a modern sort of urban fantasy setting, but I could also give her an ancient archaeological find setting. Like, if you're not picky, just let me know, because I'm willing to... It's not the first time I've gotten requests, and if you want me to do a certain setting with a certain monster girl, just let me know. Usually the requests I've gotten are just for monster girls, like, hey, can you do a bunny girl ASMR or a chinchilla ASMR or whatever. But I mean, if you want me to do certain things for this request, like, just let me know. But yeah. I enjoy reading these stories to you guys, and I'm glad you enjoy them, despite the fact that sometimes we get off topic. But yeah. And speaking of sleeping, October's sleeping right now. Let me just adjust my volume, but October's sleeping. I guess reading all my stories put October to sleep. I saw her ear twitching a few minutes ago. She could be dreaming. And some animals actually can dream, believe it or not. And I mean, as a cat owner, I've seen my cats, if they're sleeping, sometimes their paws or their ears will twitch. I don't know what cats dream about, but they probably dream about lots of pleasant things. And yeah, that just about wraps up this live stream. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!